Before moving on to our examination of Carl Cohen's argument, I just want to point out one final thing about the argument made by Gavrik Matheny. Notice that throughout Matheny's argument, he is focusing on the interests of animals, the sentient interests of non-human animals. Nowhere in Matheny's essay does he attempt to argue that animals possess rights. Okay? That's not Matheny's aim in his essay. Instead, Matheny is trying to argue for equal consideration of interests, and that when you achieve equal consideration of animals' interests, you reach the conclusion that many of our current animal practices are unjustified. But he nowhere in his essay argues that cows, chickens, pigs, rats, bunnies, etc. have rights, such as a right to life or a right not to be caused harm. Okay, he does not argue that. In contrast, Carl Cohen is focusing on whether or not animals possess rights. And as you're aware, Cohen answers that question negatively, saying that animals do not possess rights. So I'm just pointing all of this out because on the face of it, it may appear that the arguments made by Gavrik Matheny and Carl Cohen conflict. It may appear that way. However, I'm not so sure that's the case. I actually think that the arguments made by Matheny and Cohen could be compatible. They are approaching the issue of animal treatment from different bases. But ultimately, I think that their conclusions may be compatible. And that's largely because Matheny's not arguing for animal rights, and Cohen is arguing that animals do not possess rights. And as we will see, there are some other points that Cohen makes that I think Matheny would agree with. So let's now turn our attention to Carl Cohen's essay.